Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got full rockin' my gun out there.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Oh, this hard goddamn work being this good.
One more again, see what I take on your front set, I swear.
You ain't my daddy, are you?
There's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
What time is it?
Game time proof.
Okay, welcome to the Don't Be Blasé podcast. I'm your host, B. Caruana, coming to you live from the House of Pain, otherwise known as Snap Fitness in the Adelaide CBD. I'm joined as always by my co-host, Steve Burrows.
Hello there. How you going?
Very nice, Steve.
Good.
Nice.
Just before you go on.
Yep.
And I know you've got a bit of a script and stuff you got to get through, and I appreciate that. But I just wanted to go a quick throwback to last week.
Yes.
And I just wanted to say, I don't want to start off negative.
Yes.
Or nothing like that. But to all the listeners who disagree with me.
Yes.
So
hang on a second. So that's all the listeners.
all of them.
Yep.
How do I say this politically correctly? Fuck you, man. In between us sucks, and I just wanted to confirm that all the love that you received / hate I received. Yeah, mates, everyone. I think Mum said, what are you talking about, Steve? Yeah, it's rubbish.
Well, that was great. I already know that I beat you on every occasion that we debate stuff. And it just felt good to be vindicated. All 19 of our listeners, that's it. We went up to 19 from last week. We are just dominating the audio medium.
Yeah.
And you know what was also dominated?
What was that?
You're trying to attack the in-betweeners. It was resounding, yes, that show's hilarious.
Oh.
Critically acclaimed.
Dude.
The show's the people's champ as well. Steve, it was proven that you have no taste. And now, even though I still haven't watched it, even though I promised would, I have even more apprehension about MacGruber.
I was going to bring that on a DVD today. But yeah, it does bug me, and I think it's what's wrong with the world today. Yeah. I think people have stopped accepting greatness, and they're just happy with mediocre now. Yeah. And they don't even know it's mediocre because they've just accepted it.
Is this also including the people that listen to our show? Or?
Yes, we are bottom of the barrel. Don't worry about that. But I just think that, So I didn't want to start off negative.
Yep, but you started off negative.
But I've started off very negative because I'm very upset.
Well, it's okay, because that's going to be a theme for today. But before we get into that, we're going to thank our sponsor before you cut them off, Steve.
Sorry.
Thanks to Larry and Lad. Go see the boys at Region Arcade. Get yourself an awesome coffee, listen to pretty sweet tunes. And on Fridays, get yourself some kick-ass fucking donuts as well.
Them, man.
Unbelievable. But anyway, today is going to be not a negative, but a somewhat sad topic. It's going to be something that invokes a lot of passion. We're going to discuss our greatest sporting heartbreaks, mostly centered around one team. Probably the representative of Australia that means the most to us.
Yeah.
Because we're not huge rugby union fans, so the Wallabies, man.
Nah.
The Australian cricket team, not huge fans of because, they were just so dominant for so long. And then,
that's right.
And now they're like, okay, but we just don't care. We don't really care about cricket when we're winning. I'm going to talk about the little engine that could. I'm going to talk about the Socceroos. They are the hardest team in my life, 34 years of my life, to support. And I've supported them since I can remember. But even when they used to wear those horrible green, they were predominantly green with the collar and had the crazy, almost like crisscross pattern on. Oh, ugly top. I can't remember. What was the name of our captain back then? I can't.
In the 90s?
Yeah.
Ned Zelich? No,
before him. Yeah, we had some really average teams that wouldn't even get close to getting World Cup status. But they are the team that they're the ultimate underdogs, let's be honest. Because we're not exactly a soccer nation or a football nation. They've always been our sort of, the team you support on the side. And everyone, as being Australians, we love the underdog. But they just love to break your heart. Have you got any good Socceroo stories for me, Steve?
Socceroos. Actually, it was funny because I forgot they were playing the other night. Actually, I just saw your
My post?
We're not making World Cup clap things.
No,
we
it was,
doing.
we don't deserve to make the World Cup.
right. Then I was like, shit. We must be losing or something.
Oh, we were down 1-0 6 minutes in, yeah.
So I switched it over.
To international powerhouse Syria.
I didn't even know they had a team.
Oh.
I didn't know they had a team. So I flicked it over and started watching from that point. I think it was 1-1 when I turned it on. I think Timmy Cahill just scored or something. But look, the Socceroos have definitely done their fair share of heartbreaking, I think. And it goes back to probably the mid-90s when they played against... Was it 90s? It must have been 90s.
1998.
1998. Oh, okay. Like a Rain Man over here. Let me tell you guys. It's hard to get an argument with this guy because he remembers everything. He's like my wife, man. Yeah. He remembers everything, man. So, 1998, we were playing against Iran. It was a home leg as well.
Home leg of the game against Iran. We were up 2-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
What do you do when you're up 2-0 at halftime and you're about to go into your first World Cup since the 60s? You park the fucking bus in front of the goals.
That's right, yeah.
You play like Greece did in the 2006 European Championships when they won every game 1-0 by scoring one goal and then putting 9 guys in the box. It was horrible to watch. But hey, they also have a European Championship trophy.
Yep.
But the Socceroos decided, nah, that's too easy. We're going to do this the underdog way. We're going to try to take the game on, concede 2 of the shittest goals on counter-attacks you've ever seen, and a young Spee sitting on the couch, bawling his eyes out, didn't get to see his Socceroos make the World Cup in France 98. France 98 was a really good tournament too.
Yeah, it was. That was a really good one. And a good FIFA game as well, from memory. Yeah. That was terrible. The other heartbreak, probably the biggest heartbreak, and most people, I think, who are listening to this would remember, is what World Cup was it? 2006 World Cup when we beat that was our first World Cup that we got to.
Yep.
We played really well. That's when we beat Japan the first round, first game, and then I think we scored late against Croatia to get in the knockouts.
Yep.
And we come up against Italy, maybe the first or second round of the knockout. I can't remember. What was first round, was it?
Round of 16.
Was it round of 16, right?
Rain Man does everything.
And, we got to extra time.
Yep.
And I forget who it was who actually had the ball in the box, but I remember Lucas Neal, ill-advisedly...
Yep. Went for the slide tackle. And then fucking Totti, I think it was, who had played off the bench 5 minutes here. He was one of those big names who just really wasn't coming through with it. He goes to take a penalty. Yep, nails it, and Australia was gone. I remember I was laying in bed at the time. Jonah was to my left, and it was heartbreaking. I was at Adelaide Oval. I'd gotten up in the middle of the night to go watch it on the big screen at Adelaide Oval. Once again, young Spee, not so young this time, also in tears leaving the ground.
So they are full of... That were the 2 probably biggest ones I can remember as a heartbreaking. But they're just terrible to watch sometimes,
The problem is, it's just... they're always terrible to watch.
Yeah.
Because they just love that... If they could win a game 5-0 and, just dominate, possession, pass the ball around, just kick goals whenever they choose, they would go, nah, that's not a good option. Let's do the option where we go down 1 goal early and spend the rest of the fucking game trying to get it back, much like we did in our first ever game. And this is what really annoyed me, because in Australia, we're a very multicultural country.
Right.
So there's people from here, there, and everywhere. So, some of your sort of more European-based people will embrace the World Cup, and they tend to embrace their quote-unquote homeland, even though they were born here.
Yeah.
Now, this is the issue that I had. It was our first World Cup and everyone's very excited. I went to a friend's house. My friend was Italian. And they were all cheering on Australia and it was going to be exciting. Australia was on at I think it was 11 or not, it was a late game. But then Italy was on at 3 or something. It was a really, really late game. So everyone was sort of settled in for a big night. And there's about 20 of us sitting around watching the game. And obviously I'm so excited. It's our first World Cup. We're taking on Japan and we're a chance. Now, Japan scores in the 18th minute off the shittest free kick. It just kind of floated. It was like a cross and someone ran into the Schwarzer, the keeper, and the ball just floated in. We're down 1-0. And I then get to proceed to listen to a group of quote-unquote Italians or Italian Australians or just people that really annoyed me sitting there going, Australia sucks. They've always sucked.
Yeah.
I'm only here for the Italy game anyway. Later, I just get to sit there and just stew for 60 minutes? Until the 70th minute. And the greatest substitution of all time happened. Yeah. They bring on Tim Cahill and he scores not 1, But two of the best goals you've ever seen, followed by a junk time classic by Aloisi.
Yeah.
And we win 3-1. All of a sudden, these guys are jumping up and down celebrating. I'm like, hey, you guys can sit the fuck down because you just said Australia was shit and you're only here for Italy, so you can fuck right off.
But you wouldn't have told Aloisi that was junk time goal.
Oh, no. I wanted to give him a kiss.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
If it wasn't
dude.
for his penalty, we wouldn't have made the World Cup as well.
How good was that? Now, that was a time when we didn't go through Asia.
No.
We still had to go and play against the 5th best South American team or something.
It was usually Uruguay too, and they were
Uruguay.
always strong.
And we had to play Argentina once. Remember,
Yeah,
Maradona came down one time and he played. So it was a hard time with soccer. So to get in that World Cup the way we did, and then for your Italian friends to just bag on us, and they weren't the only ones. That comes with everyone. I've got English mates who do exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, fuck them. Yeah,
they suck, man. They suck.
They want to support Australia when we're flogging England in the cricket. As soon as England beats Australia, they're like, oh, no, I'm English, I know. Like, hang on, when did that accent come back?
All right, Gov.
You've been living here for 30 years. I know the boys you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, and they're all for the Wallabies winning, but as soon as the Lions win, oh my God, I get on the English. You know,
Do you remember that World Cup? I think it was the World Cup. It was played here at Australia and Great Britain when Australia and England.
Yeah.
And what was that guy? The
Johnny
kicker?
Wilkinson.
Oh, and they were riding his nuts all the way.
I think they scored one try the whole World Cup,
And
and
he
it was
just
just all off the boot of Johnny Wilkinson.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I'm not going to badmouth him. Johnny Wilkinson was an exceptional player. For a guy his size, he would still go in there and throw his body on the line and make tackles. He wasn't just a pretty boy taking
We're not
kicks.
bagging him though. We're bagging the supporters.
Oh, definitely bagging the supporters.
Bagging
That
the
was
supporters,
like,
yeah.
all of a sudden, people that my mum is English. She was born in England. I am eligible for an English passport.
Okay.
Like, I'm half English as
Right.
far as my parents.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not fucking claiming them.
No.
Even when the World Cup's on, and my brother likes, my brother's a big English soccer fan, and he'll go for Liverpool. Like a lot of scumbags I know do, and
Wow.
and he'll support England, but I just can't do it. Like I'm an Australian. Like I love my Australian teams. You know?
Yeah.
Admittedly, the other half of me is Maltese, and we're another little engine that could. It's a tiny little island. If Malta do anything, I'm always excited. I always
Right.
watch the Olympics. There's only ever 2 competitors from Malta, and one looks like a grumpy old wrestler who looks like my uncle, and then another one's like a weightlifter, and they're both like 5'2", and they're really hairy and really angry. But I support them, because I'm an underdog. I think it's the
Yeah.
Australian tradition of supporting the underdog. But
Yeah.
it seems to be a very English tradition of just jump on the team that's winning.
Oh yeah, it happened, and it's like with them. Remember that time when the cricket team was just beating everyone?
Yep,
But as soon as England, I think Flintoff come along and a couple of those young guys come along and Peterson and they knocked us off. It was crazy.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all the English cricket fans
Came
come out
out of nowhere.
Yeah,
They love celebration.
Oh, they
Yeah.
do. And Olympics, the English, they don't watch the first week because it's all swimming and stuff.
Yeah,
and
the
it's
Australians just smash
But
it,
as soon as the English guy wins,
Yeah.
I'm the first one to get told. Oh,
Yeah.
the English guy won this. I know it's probably never actually happened, but as an example, that's what they fucking do, man.
But that's the thing, like everyone's so proud of the Australians when it comes to everything but soccer, because we're not like I said, we're not a soccer nation. But that's the thing, like when the Socceroos captured everyone's imagination, when they made the World Cup and they put a good outing. I mean, we won their first game against Japan. We lost the next one 2-0 to Brazil, but it's Brazil.
Yeah,
and then
that's right.
we had to beat.
Which Ronaldo was playing.
Yeah. And then Ronaldinho was a machine back then too. And
So good, Ronaldinho.
Oh, but for all the money you made in your career, mate, get your teeth fixed. Sorry, mate. Come on, mate. That was disgusting. But then we played. Was it the year that we played Croatia or that we played Serbia?
We played Croatia and because remember Callas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Croatia.
And so we had to get through. We had to get a tie with them.
Yeah, at least a draw.
Yeah, and we got through them, and that's when we, But that was another example of the Socceroos. Like, because I remember getting up. It was like the 4:30 a.m.
it was,
game
that's
because
right.
we get obviously because of the time difference and stuff.
Yeah.
We have to wake up at stupid o'clock to watch soccer.
Yeah.
And I just remembered that game. It was another example of, like, why do we have to be down 1-0 all the time? So
Yeah.
we're down, like we started the game, I think it was like 5 minutes in, we're down 1-0.
Yeah.
We finally pull it back, and then old mate Spider Kalash just lets through one of the shittest goals
What
you'll
was
ever
he even playing for?
Schwarzer was injured or something.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
and so we started Kalach instead, and it was the first and last game Kalach got the World Cup.
Yeah.
It was just horrible. But then we're spending the rest of the 30 minutes just trying to peg back. We're always trying to peg
Yeah.
back a goal. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Even the next World Cup, I mean, we had the heartbreak with losing to Italy. Then the next World Cup, I think we won our first game.
Okay.
And then we had to beat Ghana and Serbia.
Was that was my 30th? Remember that you were?
Yes,
was
yes,
it the
yes.
Alma?
Yeah, and we're watching against Ghana. And
That's right.
Your mate Harry Kewell gets sent off for the handball.
Hey, that's not bad. Harry
like
Kewell.
10 minutes in, and then we're spending the whole game trying to peg back a goal.
Don't back Harry Kewell. He's the greatest Australian soccer player probably ever. Sorry, go on with the story. Yeah, maybe we'll get to that later.
Nah, fuck my other story. You're not seriously saying Harry Kewell's the best Australian soccer player of all time.
I think I pretty much said that. Yes, when I'm in. Sorry, okay, I'll
rephrase it because I think you meant to say
Harry,
Tim Cahill.
Okay, so when I meant Harry Kewell was the greatest soccer player ever to play in Australia, I meant to say Harry Kewell is the greatest soccer player to ever play. No, I got it right. Yeah, no, it's great soccer player to play for Australia. That was spot on. Proceed. Go on.
But so you're going to just discount old 50 goals Tim Cahill?
Tim Cahill was fine. You know,
Fine.
he's okay.
Fine. You're just giving him fine.
No, he's
Super
okay.
Tim.
He's all right.
The greatest man to don the green and gold. The man we're lucky to get back from Samoa because he played for them in his junior.
I'm pretty sure Samoa was the team that he's probably scored 17 goals against.
That was as my Andy puts it, dual world record holder Archie Thompson. He's the only man that has the most amount of goals in a soccer final, which was 6 against Adelaide.
Oh, I remember that. That was against Melbourne. Yeah, I
when
remember
he played
that.
for Melbourne. And he also had 13 in a World Cup qualifier against...
Oh, really? So Archie, it wasn't Timmy Cahill.
No, Archie Thompson has the dual world record holder, Archie
yeah.
Thompson.
Well, good on Cahill for scoring 50, and that's very impressive, obviously. Ronaldo does that every year. Real Madrid.
But we're talking about international goals. These are just international
I know, but
goals.
you see who they play against. They're playing against Asian teams.
Yeah, but he always scores them on the big stage.
Oh, no, but no, Harry Kewell's better. Harry Kewell. Let's talk about Croatia.
Okay.
Harry Kewell scored our goal.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
And
I
he
think
was
he
offside.
Off the bench, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he was offside. Hey, I'm not complaining. He got us through, but he was offside. Let's be honest.
Harry Kewell, yeah, that's right.
And then what did he do against Ghana? Oh, that's right. Got sent off with 10 minutes into the game.
He was old by that point. Come
Yeah,
on,
because
man. Give the dude a break.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, at the World Cups, he never really did a whole lot. I would even argue Viduka was more important than Harry Kewell.
Yeah, look, I think, playing for... Okay, there's two different arguments here. The Harry Kewell, as an Australian player, Timmy Cahill was the greatest player to play for Australia.
Yes.
I'm not going to deny that. The dude, he comes up in all the games.
So you're going to separate as far as like an Australian player,
yes.
as a player from Australia,
yes.
or someone that played for Australia.
Exactly. They're two different arguments.
Okay.
I'm going to give the nod to Timmy Cahill as the greatest Socceroo.
Thank you.
He has been, and he still is. He's 38 this year, and still to be by a mile the best player on that team.
In fairness, this latest crew of Socceroos, mate, you boys need to pull your socks up because the fact that you're getting shown up by a 38-year-old man is the only reason we got past Syria. You guys need to pull your finger out, especially Robbie Cruz, mate. I'm coming for you.
Yeah, and this goes to... I've actually had a conversation with a few of my mates about this. Whether or not the A-League was good or bad for Australian soccer. Okay.
It's actually, I'll argue that it's very good, but you give me your point.
Okay. It's good for a local competition. I totally agree. The NSL was a joke.
Oh.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. The A-League for a local competition is fantastic. For the development of Australian soccer players on an international level, actually, I think it is actually a hindrance because no longer do kids aspire to go to play for necessarily Manchester United or Barcelona. They've actually got a semi or maybe full professional league here on their doorstep. So rather than having to ship off, like Timmy Cahill did as a young player, went over to England and developed into a great player. These guys are still going through our local grassroots level, and I don't think they actually reached the full potential of... and so I think the 2006 Australian team would flog the shit out of today's team.
Well, that was our golden era, let's be honest. That was the team.
And I don't think it's going to happen again like that.
Well, that was like I said,
because I think the system.
Yeah. Well, it's just I don't think you blame the system more so than I would. That's almost like this is a completely different argument, almost a millennial thing, because it's that whole near enough is good enough these days. We see it in every sort of in my work as a personal trainer, in our sort of other sort of
entertainment, like In-Betweeners.
Oh, Jesus.
Whoa.
And even like if we throw in things like with like our other passion, which was wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
And like there's no desire to be the best. It's like near enough is good enough. If someone tells me I'm good, then I'm good.
Yeah, definitely.
Like there's no chasing these, like, it's no, everyone pegging you down, so you reach for the stars. It's like, I did this and 10 people said I'm good, so fuck it, I'm good. And that's what the issue with that is. I don't think people still aspire. It's always going to be the ones that are going to aspire to be great. But there's too many people that are happy to settle for good.
That's true. There might be aspirations, but the avenue is now that they can go through the development leagues now.
But see,
because there's a platform. But in the old days, Craig Johnston, for example.
If they're happy to settle for that, then they're not really the kind of guys we want.
Well, okay, well, maybe. But
and that's the problem. The whole bunch of guys that we do, even the guys that do play overseas, that play for the Socceroos, they just seem to be happy enough to be Socceroos and think.
Right.
Just because they're the Socceroos now, we've made 3 World Cups in a row, that we're just guaranteed to make a World Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at a team like America, like USA. They didn't make the World Cup. They just got knocked out this week. And that comes from that sort of belief that you are the best and you will be given whatever you want whenever you want to get it.
Maybe it's because of the whole, you get awards for coming every place in the sprints these days.
Yeah.
There's no, you get demoted to the relay race anymore.
Everyone
gets their own sprints.
You still cut about it, eh?
Oh, dude, man.
But yeah, it's the participation trophy award sort of culture. That's what led to that. I don't think it's so much the A-League stunting everyone's growth.
I don't know.
I think it's just lack of heart from a lot of people.
Maybe. Like I said, it's not stunting growth. It just means to me that now that's something that players can rest their laurels on.
Yeah.
And, and it's like, I don't know, Craig Johnston was one of the classic Australian soccer players.
Yeah.
Actually, he was born in South Africa, but he's Australian
We'll
for
claim
us.
him.
He is. And he went to Liverpool as a young player.
Yeah.
And he got to become at that time, the most famous Australian soccer player, because he made that jump at, I think he was 14.
Yeah.
He went over, or even maybe younger, I can't remember. But anyway, he went over there. I don't know how much that happens anymore.
No.
I don't know.
Well, you got to remember, there was that era where the guys that did play for that Socceroos team that we love and hold so dear. I mean, you remember, like, we had Viduka and Kuehl both at Leeds. And that Leeds team, everyone it was sort of like, for a while there, Leeds was everyone's second team, because it had all the Australians there. I mean, as a child, I was sort of a fan of Aston Villa, purely because they had Mark Bosnich. Because you
could have went for either United or Chelsea. That might have been a better team to follow, because he played for both of them as well.
Yeah, but it's once again, it's my Australianness of I love to get on the underdog. Yeah, and they're really under. So much so now that I've actually disavowed Aston Villa, and I'm a Birmingham City guy. There's a person,
for real?
big shout out to Faye. She turned me. I'm on Birmingham City now. So don't tell me about the villains. I'm all about the Blues, even though they're both playing in the Championship. No good.
Oh wow, yeah, right.
Yeah, they have a Premier League team. They're no good.
Yeah,
but that's why English soccer is rubbish. But but back to like the Kuehl Cahill thing.
Kuehl Cahill. Yeah.
I'd even argue that like Viduka had a better career Premier League wise than Harry Kuehl did. I mean, I know Harry Kuehl got the big contract at Liverpool.
Yeah.
And this is something that we had a little bit of banter about before, and this is probably going to turn my brother's nose up, and Paddy's going to get mad at me too. But the greatest moment of Liverpool's recent history would be winning the Champions League.
Yep.
Coming back from 3-0 down against AC Milan.
Yep.
Now, when the comeback started, where was Harry Kuehl?
He was getting iced down. I don't know what he was doing.
So what happened? So he missed.
Well, okay, to be fair...
So Harry Kuehl didn't play. So they were down 3-0 when Harry Kuehl was on the field.
He started
as
one of the Liverpool's best 11.
Yes.
He did. And then he had
that best 11 went down 3-0 at half-time, yeah?
That's right. But then word has it that he got the guys up in a half-time speech.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that's right.
Just limped in and said, do it for me, boys. Do it for the Hazard.
Yeah, exactly. And then they came back. It was an amazing comeback.
Yeah. So nothing to do with Steven Gerrard.
No, there was... That's right. He scored a cracking header. Smeetzer scored as well, and Dieter Hamann maybe scored. I can't remember. But I think you bought me the DVD.
I think I did.
Yeah, you did. The Road to the Istanbul.
I'm such a good friend.
You're a good guy. But we digress. Yeah, Kuehl's way better. You made me lose my train of thought, man.
Exactly, because I'm just saying, all I remember seeing is...
Oh, that's right, yeah, he played it, that's right, he came off. Yeah, big deal, okay, came off.
He came off, and then Liverpool won.
Injured, man.
Yeah, that's it. Like I said, he's just fragile. Cahill's still playing at 38.
That's impressive.
Kuehl retired at, 33 years old, because he was just knackered. He's broken down. And we always see here the Merseyside derby, we always see the Everton and Liverpool games. And I just remember seeing a lot of Tim Cahill headers.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing a lot of Harry Kuehl goals in the Liverpool Reds.
He did actually. I think he did score a couple against Everton, probably when Timmy Cahill was coming up. They're very similar age, actually. It's a good point, actually. Timmy Cahill's endurance is very impressive to play at his age. But look, I think Harry Kewell made a bigger splash, and this is my opinion, but he made a bigger splash for Australian soccer in general. There was more people probably turned on to soccer because of Harry Kewell rather than Tim Cahill, because Harry Kewell was the big Leeds player. He scored. He was amazing. He was definitely the best Australian player at that time. He had that big contract with Liverpool when he could have went to any of many clubs. Yep. Barca, Real Madrid, Man United, Chelsea, all offered bigger money to pick him over than Liverpool. But he was a Liverpool kid, so he went and played for Liverpool. So basically, the kids who play today, or the kids who watched him play in that era, the 2000 to 2009.
Yep.
He was that guy. He was the one be like Mike. It was be like Harry.
Now, see, I'm going to argue with that there because do you know what he has for breakfast? Do you know what Harry Kewell has for breakfast?
I'm assuming he doesn't have Wheat Bix or what the
That's
fuck.
right. Tim Cahill, he does what, 9 Wheat Bix or something, and we all know this, okay? Everyone knows it. Everyone knows an Aussie kid is a Wheat Bix kid, and everyone knows Tim Cahill smashes Wheat Bix, and that's why he's so fucking good at soccer. So much better than Harry Kewell. He's probably having eggs Benny. He's not a Wheat Bix kid, and that's why Tim Cahill gets the nod for me. And I don't think you can argue with the Wheat Bix. There we go.
I was a big Wheat Bix kid as well.
There you go.
14 Wheat Bix.
There we go. Argument decided.
Wow.
Where's the gavel? Much like the in-betweeners, this is a landslide. What? But the thing is, this is the positive note there, but we're going to get back to the heartbreaks, because these are all successes that we enjoy as Australia as a country. Now, we live in a little city named Adelaide. It's a city of churches. We have the prestige of being the only city in Australia that wasn't settled by convicts.
Yes, that's right.
So we are quite posh.
We do have an accent.
We do have an accent, apparently. But we don't sound like people from Queensland who sound like people on Home and Away.
We say grass rather than grass, I think. Although that sounds American. But yeah, we pronounce our A's differently.
It's the dance and dance thing.
Dance, grass.
Yeah.
No, is that, or did I get that wrong?
Steve doesn't live in a very affluent area, so we won't lump Steve in with the rest of Adelaide. He's one of the poors. But the Adelaide teams are the greatest tease in the history of Australian sports. There is nothing worse than an Adelaide team that is having a great season.
Yeah.
If your team, say the 36ers, say the Adelaide Crows, even Port Adelaide Power, you can get your Adelaide Strikers in. You can get, who else we got? Adelaide United.
Oh, yep.
If we finish first in the regular season, I can guarantee you, we will break your heart in the finals.
Yeah.
We will lose every time. As soon as you get your hopes up, as soon as you feel confident in the beautiful city of Adelaide producing a sports team that is going to win it all, much like what happened to Steve a couple of weeks ago in the AFL Grand Final, they will break your heart. There is nothing more guaranteed. It's like death, taxes, Adelaide teams lose in the finals. That is the 3 guarantees in life. I've seen it too many times, Steve.
Yeah, definitely. The Crows have done it many times. 05, 06, I think they come top and second. Both times blue. I think their home final end up going out to West Coast both times in prelim, I'm pretty sure. Richmond's lately. What about the finals against Hawthorn? Buddy kicking a goal from the kind of like the boundary from 55, 60 out. 2013 when we weren't even in it, but somehow we had such a great game, just enough to give us our hopes up, and then to fuck us right at the end. And then the Collingwood game when Big Ben Truck Rutten held on to that
Jack Anthony's
arm.
And that fan was robbed.
Oh,
right in front of me. Right in front of me.
YouTube that.
Just for a side laugh, guys, if you do want to know what we're talking about, look up, just YouTube Crows fan right in front of me, and you will see one of the greatest. It's another one of the paws from Adelaide, but one of Steve's mates.
One of my boys. And then obviously 1993, when it was our 3rd year in the league, we were up 7 or 8 goals against Essendon, and you hear it, if you listen to Triple M in the afternoon, they bring it up a lot with Jarman, Mr. from straight out, 20 out or something, and Jarman being one of the probably most skillful players in the modern era. For him to miss was a shocker. So that's heartbreak. Look, I know you're a huge 36ers fan, SB, but to be honest with you, I haven't really watched 36ers since Robert Rose left, or Darnell Mee, or remember that we had that really good run.
Yeah, we had the back-to-back year. That was the year. I do remember late 90s. We were like championship city. I think the Crows won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
The Sixers won 2 in a row. The Lightning, our women's basketball won. I think every major sporting team, except for the Redbacks, our cricket team, because our cricket team's fucking rubbish. But every major team, and I remember I was maybe like 14, and we had along King William Road, which is one of our major streets here, we had a big parade, and all the teams were coming through. It was just like, oh, mate, we just win everything.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And I don't think we've won anything since.
No, yeah, Y2K got us. But yeah, I haven't watched the 36 in a long time.
Oh, last year we finished top, and we were so far ahead that we pretty much just rested players, and we did that. You know, when you start messing around with form, and you start resting players for the finals. We lost the last 3 games or 3 or 4 games of the season, but we were that far ahead. We still had home court. We finished top of the ladder and had a home court series against Wollongong. Smashed them game 1. We only best of 3 series. Lost game 2, which was just a horrible outing. And then game 3, we decided to have a really bold strategy of just leaving all the Illawarra players open and let them shoot threes. Now, I don't know what he was expecting to happen.
No, yeah.
But a lot of those threes went in because they were wide fucking open. And I spent the better part of like 45 minutes screaming at the court. Just a bit of defensive rotation would have helped, and we ended up losing. And the thing is, and that's the thing about the Sixers. I go to a lot of games, and they're, because of the ultimate heartbreakers, I went to a game recently, and they were up by 12, like 10 minutes or 5 minutes into the second half. I turned to my mate, and I'm going, we're going to lose this. Because I am more confident when the Sixers are down 8 than when they're up 12. Because I know they're going to break behind. And even that game against the Hawks in their playoffs, when we were down, like we were down 20 going into halfway through the third. We got it back to within 4 points. We're that come from behind team. Good front runners. If you expect something from Adelaide, they're going to let you down. Yeah. But they'll always give it a shot. But they just always just break your heart. They're good at fighting from behind. But then they will always let you down in the end. And it's upsetting.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, for me, I mean, obviously the Crows are the big one. I think we'll be back next year. I think it was a bit of a hiccup. Like I said, 36ers. I think I was watching a little bit of that Julius Randle. Dude, he was pretty cool. Was he that little point guard, man?
Yeah,
he was pretty cool.
He's not there anymore. But
right. There you go. That's
we do have Nathan Sobey. Nathan Sobey, I know you're a big fan. I know you listen. You're the 19th listener. You're a fucking superstar.
19th man. Yeah. Is he that little guy who can get up and dunk? Is he
Yeah. He's that new little point. He's
hang on. Am I talking about the right guy?
Yeah, he's too good to play.
Is he an import or not?
No. He's a homegrown boy.
Yeah. I think I know
He's
him,
too good to play NBL.
Yeah.
He's that fringe player that if he went to Europe, he could probably make some money. He even did the preseason training camps, like played summer league for the Jazz.
Oh, wow. Okay,
he's a very, very good player. But if he stays, and hopefully, Nathan, please, let me speak to you here, Nathan. Nathan, can you please stay at the 36ers? Because you're my favourite player. I really enjoy how you get about it. And you have the potential to be the new Brett Maher. So please stay. And that's a big call.
What do they get paid these days?
And not enough, probably. But, to be called the next Brett Maher, if you understand who Brett Maher is, look him up. He is possibly the greatest Adelaide 36er of all time.
Yeah, but he probably has to have a part-time job at fucking Sports Power or something. I don't know if that's I'd give up Milan for a job out at West Lakes Sports Power or some shit.
Steve, shut up. Nathan, if you're listening, can you please stay at the Sixers? I really enjoy how you go about it.
All right. Speaking of Adelaide, guys, remember Lane Hewitt? Oh wow,
because we get okay. This is we talked about it before. How we will, like Craig Johnson. We will claim in Australia. We'll claim anyone who's good at sports.
Who stopped over maybe in a stopover flight.
Okay, so we also claimed Aussie Kostya.
Yes.
Now that is the most Russian name I've ever heard.
You can barely speak English.
No, his last name, I don't think even had a vowel in it. No. It was just a whole bunch of T's, Z's, Y's, and that sort of stuff.
And the characters that they have in their language.
Yeah. But, he lived here for long enough, so we're like, hey, Australia, Kostya.
Yeah.
This is how annoying Leighton Hewitt was. At one stage, Leighton Hewitt was the world #1 tennis player. We still didn't want to claim him.
No.
He was born in Adelaide.
Yeah, we still don't.
And we'll claim fucking anyone. Still didn't want to claim him.
No.
That's how annoying Leighton Hewitt is. The whole time, Leighton Hewitt was #1.
Yeah.
We all kind of turned around and scratched our head and went, right, when's Pat Rafter coming back?
It was a pretty shitty time for tennis, though. Well, it was a transition phase.
That was another heartbreak for our tennis. Yes, Leighton was the world #1 briefly, and he was a good player, and he had the come on, and he was a battler, and blah, blah, blah. You're fucking annoying, Leighton. But Rafter losing Wimbledon
Oh, Pat Rafter.
to Goran Ivanisevic
Yeah.
was possibly one of the biggest heartbreaks as far as like a tennis game. I mean, not
Yeah.
that we're like super huge tennis fans. Like
No.
I love the Australian Open. I don't watch a whole lot of other tennis, but you know, you always know the big names. When tennis is big, you know, when you got the big name players, it's always exciting to watch. And that was an exciting time. And Pat Rafter went against some of the best of the best.
He did, and he actually, one of his biggest rivalries was against Pete Sampras.
Yes.
Who I'm actually going to say, and you kids might disagree, but I'm going to say he is still the greatest tennis player of all time. Sampras over, as much as Federer is as good as he is, and he is very good, and he's better than fine.
Yeah,
he's definitely better than fine.
Well, thanks for giving him that endorsement, Steve. Out of I don't know how many majors you need to win to get better than fine in the Steve rating.
He beat look. Sampras had the record of 14.
Yep,
I'm pretty sure 14 Grand Slams, and I think Federer's got 18 or 19 now, which is very super duper good.
Yep.
But Sampras only played for a short period of time. You know, it's kind of like Jordan before his first retirement. Yeah, he won
out of how many retirements?
Well, the first out of 3.
There
That's
you
right.
go, thank you.
But Sampras, he won his 14 titles with. I think he won his first when he was 18 in the US Open. He won his last when he was 30.
And I'll give you some credit there. Sampras came up at a really fucking rough time for tennis.
When he was 18, when he was playing against Becker, Lendl, Verlander, Edberg, Courier. Then he dominated, and then he had people like Agassi, and then those other guys.
I'm going to throw out one name there. I do remember the Sampras beating one legend of the game.
Legends, yes.
Marat Safin.
Tell me his legendary status.
The big thing I loved about Marat Safin, the big Russian, not so much that he wore gold chains while he was playing.
He served at 220 clicks.
Oh, mate, he had a big serve. But he also had a big entourage.
Big entourage.
Marat Safin, at the Australian Open one year, rocked up with 5 girlfriends in the box because apparently he had one girlfriend for every day of the year. Now, I don't think he won the tournament, but he won the people's hearts.
He won that night. Yeah, he did. Yeah. He didn't have to win the Grand Slam to be a winner.
No, he had a few Grand Slams.
Yeah.
Probably didn't win any majors, but he had a couple of Grand Slams. Yeah.
He did. So I think, look, that's great. You and your stories, man. You know, Scotty and Madonna.
I'm a dirtbag.
Yeah. No,
I'm the captain of Team Dirtbag.
Yeah, I get that. So, so look, we don't have to talk about this very long. But Sampras is definitely, in my opinion, to win your first Grand Slam at 18, to win your last one at 30, he retired after the US Open. He hadn't, even when he won that last US Open, I'm pretty sure it was US Open, he had not played for a full year since the last US Open title. So he actually had a whole year off, comes back and wins and retires at 30 years old and goes and nails the Billy Madison's teacher. That's his wife.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think she has a name, but we'll refer to her as Billy Madison's teacher.
Billy Madison's,
but the thing is,
Veronica Vaughn.
Oh,
Yeah.
so hot. Want to touch the honey.
So hot.
Federer just gets it for me purely because he's broken the records.
Yeah.
And then he was just gone for all money. They just went, no, he's done.
Written off.
Wrote him off, and everyone else is coming through, like Djokovic, the most punchable face in world sport, Andy Murray.
Oh,
mate, that guy shits me to tears. And then you've got, you still got guys like Nadal. Nadal's been that sort of gun player who got a little bit injured, but now he's starting to come good again.
Yeah, he
Their
is.
rivalry alone. It's sort of like a few years ago when it was Hawthorn and Geelong were the two best AFL teams.
Yeah.
And you watch them play each other. Same thing happened in the NFL. It was Seattle and San Francisco. When you get some sort of great rivalries like that, you could literally, even Golden State and Golden State and Cleveland now, the rivalries are that good that as a sports fan, you could happily watch those two teams or individuals play each other every week. And it got to the stage where, I don't think there's one person that wouldn't like to watch Federer versus Nadal.
No, you're right. Sampras versus Agassi was some of the best tennis ever. You're right. No,
but I'm talking
continue.
about like Federer and Nadal, and the fact that Federer now, still at this his old age, and doesn't show a whole lot of emotion because he's Swiss, and I think it's illegal for a Swiss person to show emotion. But his ability to still just dominate games, and he doesn't have the athletic abilities he used to.
No.
But you just watch him, and he's just so smooth.
So good.
He's just amazing to watch. And I was always a Nadal guy too.
Oh, really?
When he was first coming up, because my mate Andy's another one like you. He's a bandwagon. He jumps on the winner. Whoever's winning, that's Andy's favourite player.
Andy
team.
sounds like a champ.
Oh, Andy's a dick bag.
Oh, good on you,
but
Andy.
yeah, they would just jump on the winners, and he was always on Federer. So me being that, fuck that, I'm on the other guy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
go second rate. Yeah.
But now I can actually see it from the outside looking in as sort of a guy that's losing all his athletic abilities to watch another guy that, he's around, I think a couple of years older than me, and watch him still win majors now.
Didn't lose a set in the last Wimbledon.
Oh, just
Pretty
amazing
amazing
to watch. And it's just, there's still some great players coming through now. And like when he was sort of taking over, it was only basically him and Nadal doing it and that Andy Roddick, and that was about it.
And exactly. I think he won a lot of his Grand Slams those first couple of years. Him and Sampras only played once.
Yeah.
They played once in a Wimbledon.
And they played like an exhibition game.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
I'm pretty sure Federer won that.
He won 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
Sampras actually beat him.
Oh, really?
They actually said that Sampras, if he still played, would be top 5.
Really?
Yeah. Okay,
nice.
not impressed. That's not fine for you.
Yeah, no. With all the money Ronaldinho got, maybe you're going to fix the teeth. Same thing with Sampras. With all the money you've got, maybe, I don't know, trim the eyebrows. That's all I'm saying. We're going to leave that for there because it's going to get snarky from here on in. We've had a couple of drinks and we're starting to get nasty with each other. But we're going to final take. So we're going to have our last little list. Now, Stephen, this is something it's very near and dear to our hearts.
Oh, yeah.
You've admitted to me that you have a bit of an addiction.
Near and dear to my waistline as well.
Near and dear to Steve's diabetes. We're big fans of this show, of the candy known as M&Ms.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Steve, I need you to rate me down your top flavours of M&Ms.
Do we have a number?
We go for top 3.
Top 3. Okay, I'll tell you this. Shamelessly, when I was in the States for our honeymoon, we realised that there was a thing called the M&M store.
Yes.
In America.
Oh, yes.
There's about 3 or 4 of them.
Yes.
There's one in Vegas, there's one in LA, there's one in New York, and I think there's one in Miami. Dare I say, we went to all of them. So
they were different in every town.
So fair to say, my opinion is quite educated in this. There's all right. So the first one I'm going to say, and Australians may not know this because they actually come out with this in Australia. And it's not the same.
Yep.
There's raspberry ones.
Raspberry.
Yeah. Now let me tell you, folks, if you want to taste proper raspberry M&Ms, don't eat the rubbish that they came out with over here. There's a dark chocolate raspberry in the States.
Oh, you really are a connoisseur.
Dude, there's a place that...
I was taking the piss before. You're really nailing this.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah. Fuck M&Ms, man. That's disgusting.
Yeah, not being serious at all. Come on.
So, look, people would import them recently.
Yep.
The chocolate store down on...
There's one just off the James Place.
Yep. Yeah, they would. And then they stopped doing it because the Australians brought out their own raspberry ones.
Yeah.
And it killed the market.
Oh.
You had to pay $10 for a packet.
Oh, no.
Money well spent. But raspberry's number 1. Number 2, chocolate. I just like that. The standard plain chocolate. That's good. Original plain chocolate. And then the third, I don't know if I have a third. The third one would be the the yellow packet.
Peanut.
Yeah, the peanut one. That's fine. I'm happy with my. I'm not very blingy in most things in my life. I'm from the poor part, as those pieces.
He's one of the poors.
So I'm happy to what I get. If you bring out a bowl of M&Ms, I'm not picky. So yes, Pete, what's yours, bud?
Well, this is where I am also a fan of the American imported ones because that's when you find out the really good because they just know how to mix flavors.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, it's never good for you. This is like all diabetes central, but it's my favorite is my cousin brought them home for me from a trip to New York. It was a blue packet. I'm thinking, was it blue? That's like the mix-up ones? No. Pretzels.
Yeah.
With a little bit of pretzel in the middle instead of a peanut. It was incredible. It's the whole, I was a bit hesitant, but it's the sweet and the salty and a little chunk of pretzel in there. It is outstanding stuff. So number 1's going to go pretzel.
Can you believe we're actually doing a list on this?
Steve, this is important stuff.
Oh, God.
I didn't just besmirch your list. Okay. Show my list some credit. All right, so give it some respect.
Okay.
Put some respect on its name.
Oh, shit.
Number 2 is going to go peanut.
Okay, yeah.
And purely because I have a really weird OCD thing when I eat peanut M&Ms, I kind of chew the chocolate off and save the peanuts and then eat a handful of peanuts.
That's
afterwards.
disgusting.
It's weird.
I eat fruit chocks and eat the chocolate and spit out the
fruit
apricot.
Yeah, well, then there's no point eating fruit chocks. But fruit chocks is a very South Australian thing for the other 17 listeners from overseas. But then I'm going to go with, it's really tough. This is really hard, but I reckon I'm going to go with the crispy ones.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, I like the original, and I even like the minis. This is serious, Steve. I don't know why you're laughing. Right? Steve, this is a serious conversation. Please, show some respect. But this is a tough choice for me, Steve.
Oh, wow.
But I will have to give Crispies the nod because, that's the reason why, I get torn.
I love how he's trying to actually legitimise his argument.
This is a legitimate argument, Steve. This is something passionate. It's close to my heart. This is almost as upsetting as Socceroos.
Oh, dear.
When I go to the shop, if they don't have the pretzel ones there, because you have to go to the specialty stores and, like I said, pay $10 a packet.
Yeah.
This is like, you see like a real junkie. You just go in there scratching, just like, yeah, just give me the good stuff. Like, you're paying $10 for a packet of candy. You have a problem. But I'm so torn because I know I love peanut and I like crispy, but I'm not sure about a whole bag crispy, and same with the original, but I'm not sure about a whole bag original. So I'm a big fan of the mix-ups. I'll buy a bag of mix-ups. This is serious, guys.
This segment was meant to go for 30 seconds legit. He's dragging it on.
I have a passion, Steve. I have a passion for hard shell candy. And so Crispy, we're going to make it because they're just, if you get a handful of the mix-ups and you eat a crispy one, you notice that crispy one straight away, and that's going to make your day, your evening. It's going to make your day, your month, or even your year.
Oh, Jesus.
And we're going to end that on the last lyric from Friends' theme song. Just bring it back. Theme song. That's it. I choke on a lot of words. I'm terrible.
He's got a handful of M&Ms right now. I'm not going to lie.
Tell you what, I know where I'm going straight after this. I'm going to grab a bag of some of the finest you've ever seen. But that's going to be our show for today, guys. We need you guys to chime in. Which ones are your favourite M&Ms? Because I'm pretty sure Steve's not going to win the argument on who's better between Harry Kuehl and Tim Cahill. So we don't want to have Steve get embarrassed too badly again 2 weeks in a row because he's still bruised from last week's beating. But that's going to be us, guys. For Speed Caruana, saying goodbye. Steve Burrows.
Cheers, y'all.
We'll speak to you next week. Peace.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.